Tim Nicholson is on. And Tim, you can say hello to my longtime co-host, Ron Horry.
Hey Ron, how you doing? Nice to meet you.
Hey, nice to meet you, Tim. I'm in Northern California, San Jose. Where are you?
I am just north of Columbus, Ohio.
Oh my gosh, what's the weather like there?
It's cold and windy. I'm looking outside to see the wind blowing in the front yard. We had some decent snow, but it melted yesterday. So we're actually supposed to get up to like mid 40s by early next week. So it's all over the place this time of the year in central.
And I believe it. I think we're
Yeah,
spoiled in California.
yeah, I bet.
So I'll tell you who else, Ron. We're kind of waiting. I think, yeah, in fact, I just got a text from Melissa Erickson, and she was with a company called Spectrum Communications. So she texted me. She'll be popping in any minute, but really as a just a listener this time. But I would like to get her on as a spotlighted expert. So what I'd like to do is start inviting at least one expert every week to this meeting. Now, let me tell you why Tim Nicholson is an expert. Tim is on a media level of like me, and I'll tell you why. Tim started with Newsweek. I believe it was in the 70s, and
Yeah.
right, and we were good friends in New York. And Tim was working for Newsweek magazine. So he was working with, world class media people, and really at the highest level, smartest writers and on, probably in the world, along with, the writers and experts that I worked with at NBC. I mean, they were just absolutely the best. But Tim had a great experience of working in multiple media. He went to Detroit and worked for, I think it was Channel 7, Tim, was it?
Right. It was WXYZ TV. It's the ABC owned, excuse me, owned and operated station. In those days, networks could only own five stations in the country. Rules have changed, but so it was one of the five O&Os, as they called them, which of course got a lot of attention from headquarters in New York. And
Yeah.
it was always ranked the top ranked uh, local newscast. We did 2 hours in the starting in the afternoon, then a half hour at 11. So feeding enough content to fill up 2 hours of local news was always it. That was my job. I was an assignment editor, so we kept our ears on the all the police radios and all that kind of stuff, and assigned the reporters and crews to go out around the Detroit metro area and elsewhere. I mean, we actually sent a reporter and crew to Japan to report on the Japanese automotive, invasion. Again, this is 1980, that era, 79, 80. But yeah, that was really an interesting experience. And did that for a while. And then I had a couple other jobs and eventually moved to Fort Wayne, Indiana, where I joined a large power company that was headquartered in Columbus, Ohio. After about 10 years in Fort Wayne, I got promoted and we moved to Columbus in 1995 and been here ever since. So,
And I love the story, Tim, about you working with Cirque du Soleil and doing a production with Cirque du Soleil. That was very cool.
yeah, there, you know how it is, Mike, in media. Things pop up you don't expect. You might not be that familiar with certain people or certain things, but yeah, we had a lot of different opportunities to meet different organizations and do reports on them and things along those lines. So, all
The other
very
thing that I was thinking about with your background too, Tim, because of your working with in the media company, the media department of the power company, that was the kind of the point, is that Tim got to travel with his staff to all of the coolest technology trade shows to see what was the coolest video, the coolest audio, the newest things, and all the newest trends. So he got a chance to really see what was the best of the best out there. And of course, the power company could afford to, buy the really great equipment. And Tim had a great crew that he worked with for years. And that was what I learned about NBC too. I always worked on a crew, so we were used to working in teams. Tim worked at it with teams. I worked with teams, and I think that was one of the other things that we had in common, right, Tim?
Yeah, that's true, Mike. And yeah, I did certainly enjoy the trade shows. One of my minor claim to fame and favorite moments is I can say I was in the room at the Moscone Center when Steve Jobs introduced the iPhone to the world, whatever year that
Wow.
Oh, that's
was.
awesome.
But it just to I've seen Steve. I saw Steve talk twice, and that the reality distortion field term that they use around good speakers, especially Steve Jobs, you'd believe anything he was telling you and was selling to you. And I don't know, maybe there was 5,000 people in the room, and every one of them would have shelled out about any amount of money to walk out with an iPhone at that moment. The other thing that amazed me is nothing had really leaked as far as the iPhone went. But certainly not, the size, shape, the looks of it. You left the speech and you walked into the main exhibit hall, which was a huge, ginormous, Moscone Center main exhibit hall, and Apple had their display exhibit in the middle, and hanging from the ceiling were 4 foot by 6 foot reproductions of iPhones, hanging from the ceiling. It's
Right.
like, how did they get these manufactured, smuggled into Moscone Center, hung up there without any leaks? It was just stunning secrecy level. And of course, they had brochures to hand out, and they had, sample, mock-up, all that kind of stuff. But anyhow, it was just getting to go to NAB and to the media shows, and I can't remember even some of the names of them, but Chicago, New York,
Well,
San
let me
Francisco.
let me introduce you, Tim, to Ron Horry and get his background in here as well, so
Please,
that
yes.
get a mix of expertise. So, Ron has been with FinFit Life, and he is an expert in many, many ways. He's really been my Obi-Wan Kenobi
Great.
over the years that we have been working together. He is such a guru of so many different things and expertise in media and
Cool.
marketing, and well, marketing, I think more than media, but what I love about what Ron does, he works with a company, Tim, called FinFit Life. And it's a life insurance program that you really get paid to stay in shape. So you get these huge benefits and reductions and discounts and things like that. We're going to talk about that because I want to get the experts on tape here, but I also want to, I've got some great content to share, and I have quite a bit. So what I'd like to do is, now that we've established Tim's credibility, and I don't know where Melissa is. I'll text her while I play this video. But I'm going to share a couple of videos, and what I have to do is I have to optimize it. So let me get my first video queued up here for my Chrome. Get my Chrome. Okay. I'll start here, and then I'll get rid of. I don't know why Zoom puts up this. I'm going to start here with Gemini. I just had Gemini create an email that I will be sending out today. So I'm going to share a couple of things, because what I want to do is I want to share a Gemini. The Gemini was the name of the rocket launches. I covered Skylab, and the Gemini is how I start my day every day, with my Gemini launch. Okay, I call it checking in and following up. So this is Gemini. This is from Google, and I've checked out ChatGPT. And like the CEO of Salesforce said, he said, I worked with ChatGPT for 3 years, and I tried Gemini 3 for 3 hours, and I ain't going back. I still love ChatGPT, honestly, and they've got a great valuation in their public offering. So I'm not going away from ChatGPT. I just think that Google is something we're all familiar with. And so I love working with all parts of it. So I created this prompt, and I wanted to kind of show this, and I want to show people how they can go to Gemini and create a free account. Now, this is my paid account, but look how easily I can switch from my paid account to my free account. And what Gemini says, this is like my personal account, and then I have my public account. But in my personal account is where I share the mess of my life, the confusion, the chaos that we all have. We all have a certain amount of crazy in our lives, different from our public lives. But this is where you share your crazy, your mess, and without messing up your public Gemini. So then I can switch back real quick to my public Gemini. I just wanted to show you that. I created the prompt, and then what I do is I go to share it, and I created this, and I wanted to share this first video with you guys to get your comments on it. So this one is about getting our signal heard in all of the online noise. And this is kind of the struggle that all professionals and experts have. So I'm going to start to use my my notebook, which you're looking at my notebook account right now. I'm going to share a video from it. And then if you guys would listen, take notes, and then give me your comments so we can bring your expertise into this. So let me share this and we'll get started.
All right, let's talk AI. But forget all the doom and gloom, the killer robots and all that sci-fi stuff. This is about something else entirely. It's about how you can cut through all that digital noise out there to make sure your voice, your wisdom, your stories, all of it gets heard loud and clear. So let's just dive right in. You know that feeling like you're just getting totally flooded with, well, digital junk mail? It's this overwhelming wave of AI generated stuff in your social feeds, in your inbox. It's just noise. And it feels like it's getting harder and harder to find a real, genuine message in all that static, right? And forget about trying to get your own message heard. It feels almost impossible sometimes. But here's an idea. What if you could learn to surf that wave instead of getting crushed by it? Well, that's exactly what we're going to do today. We are going to find your signal. We're going to take all that wisdom, all that incredible experience you've got, and make sure it slices right through the noise, clear as a bell. Think back to the old way of doing things. Oh man, you'd be wrestling with some clunky word processor for hours, just endless typing, trying to get that brilliant idea out of your head and onto the page. And you just felt like you were shouting into the void, right? Well, the new way, it's a total game changer. I mean, imagine your ideas getting organized, like instantly. Imagine talking more and typing way, way less. This is about taking a lifetime of your wisdom and just turning up the volume so everyone can hear it. So the big question is, how do we actually do that? Well, we start with a little something I like to call AI street smarts. We're going to break down this thing called the SAFE method. Now, I know it sounds super serious and technical, but trust me, don't worry about that. It's basically just a cheat code for navigating this new digital world. Okay, so here is the cheat code. First up, perception. Just think of it like putting on a pair of X-ray specs to see right through all the online junk. Simple. Second is reasoning, and this is all you. It's you with all your experience using those street smarts to steer the ship. You are the boss here. Third is imagination. This is the fun part. It's about dreaming like it's 1969, asking what if without any limits. And finally, the main event, step 4, action and communication. This, my friends, is the payoff. This is where you take all those great ideas and you actually share them with the world, making a real connection and having a real impact. Okay, so let's get practical. Let's talk about our first strategy for making that connection. We're calling this one the Reynolds. And yeah, you guessed it. Think Ryan Reynolds, fast, funny, super authentic, and always cutting through the noise with some serious wit. So the absolute core of the Reynolds model is this. Your wisdom is your brand. Seriously, you've got decades of credibility, of real life stories, of experience that no AI on the planet can replicate. That is your superpower. And look, authentic isn't just some buzzword. It actually means leaning into your unique voice. Are you the funny one, the super wise one, the one with those completely crazy stories from the 70s? Whatever it is, don't hide it. That's your hook. It's about sharing your take on today's news, but through the lens of your life experience. So what's the big takeaway here? Okay, first, be authentic. Just let your personality shine through. Second, be timely. Reynolds is a master at reacting fast to what's happening in culture. And with a tool like, say, Notebook LM, you can take your seasoned perspective on something happening right now and get your thoughts out there while people are still talking about it. And third, and this is a big one, start thinking of AI as your own personal creative agency. It's there to help you organize and package all that amazing experience you have without you having to go out and hire a whole team. Okay, so you've nailed your authentic voice with the Reynolds model. Awesome. But now, how do you make sure that voice is clear, simple, and that people can actually relate to it? Well, that's where our second strategy comes into play. We're calling this one the Robbins, and it's inspired by the one and only Mel Robbins. I mean, think about it. Mel Robbins has built an entire empire by doing exactly this one thing. She doesn't just talk about problems. She gives people simple, actionable steps they can take. This is all about making your communication truly effective, especially for those, difficult conversations we all have to have with family or friends. It's about making things easier, not more complicated. So your big takeaway here is to focus on the how. Don't just point out a problem. Give people a formula to solve it. This is where something we call AI reasonability becomes your secret weapon. It's really just about using AI as a sounding board, to help you think through complicated problems and come up with clear, actionable solutions. It gives you a way to walk into those conversations with so much more confidence and clarity. And when you do that, you turn your advice into something people actually want to share. It becomes like currency, and that's how you build a community. All right, so let's recap. You've got your authentic message. Check. You've made it relatable. Check. Now for the final piece of the puzzle, amplification. This strategy, we're calling it the Google, is how you take that powerful message and turn it into a full-blown movement. And let's be crystal clear about something here. Sharing your wisdom, teaching other people what you know, helping your friends and peers figure out this new digital world, that is not just a hobby. It is a valuable, important societal endeavor. Your voice and your experience, it absolutely deserves to be heard on a grand scale. So the really crucial point here is leveraging the power of partnership. I mean, by working within a proven ecosystem, like Google's, for example, you get to tap into all that established trust and all those resources. And this isn't just about money, not at all. It's about getting strategic visibility. It's what ensures that when someone out there is looking for help, maybe they're searching for AI for seniors or something like that, your authentic, relatable signal is the very first thing they hear, not all that other static. So now let's put it all together, shall we? We've got these three really powerful strategies. Let's take a look at how they all combine to create one single clear path for amplifying your authentic voice. And just look at how cleanly this all connects. The Reynolds model, that's your foundation. It's all about authenticity, powered by your incredible life experience and a handy tool like Notebook LM. Then the Robbins model makes it relatable, right? Using that AI reasonability framework we talked about to turn complex stuff into simple, actionable solutions. And finally, the Google model is your megaphone. It's amplification through strategic partnership. See? They aren't separate ideas at all. They're like three stages of the same rocket. And, let's never, ever forget the ultimate goal here. This is not about becoming some tech guru or getting better at optimizing spreadsheets. No way. The whole reason we do any of this is to enhance our real human connections. It's about having more fun. It's about telling better stories. Heck, it's about organizing better dinner parties. This is a tool for life, not just for work. So when you boil it all down, the question is pretty simple. You've spent an entire lifetime building this incredible brand of experience and wisdom and stories. It's completely 100% unique to you. So are you ready to stop letting it get lost in all that static? Are you ready to finally turn up the volume?
All right, and that is from Notebook LM. So let me stop there and go to your comments. Ron, since we have a guest, if it's okay with you, we'll let Tim lead it off, or maybe we let Ron, if you would like Tim to kind of show you the kind of comments that Ron does. He's like my color analyst in a sports cast. So
Right. Yeah, go for it, Ron. Love to hear from you.
why don't we start off with you, Ron, and then we'll let Tim follow up. How's that?
Well, I'll just give a brief comment because, excuse me, Tim, Mike and I have been meeting every Friday for the past, 2 years maybe now, Mike?
Yeah, at least I would say.
So we've gone over this content, this strategy, this step-by-step process many, many, many times and have refined it. So I think, I'd like to get your impressions seeing it for the first time, because it can be a little bit overwhelming and there's a lot of depth to the content. And also not only the content, but creating the content. So I think Mike and I would like to hear your impressions.
I found it an interesting concept, good, good information to consider. I'd love to have the printout in front of me too while I was listening to, and also to, go back and reference things. But I think there's some good information in there that people could certainly use.
Okay, you just kind of gave me an idea. Let me go back to, and for some reason, I don't know why. Oh, let me push escape. And, Ron, I used Chrome again, and I forgot to use Safari. So let me remember that the problem I was having with Chrome in the Zoom meeting. So I'm trying to escape and see if I can get out of it and get my Chrome back, for goodness sakes. I don't know why. Chrome just disappears. Because what I was going to do, Tim, was I was going to share the text from Notebook, because that's what is the key, is really having I could have kept that up to let you guys use the text of Notebook. Let me see if I can quit Chrome and maybe reopen it. And maybe that will bring it back. I don't know what happens. It's just seems like Zoom and Chrome are just not compatible for some reason. I don't know why.
An undocumented feature, right?
Yeah, exactly. There you go. So anyway, the idea, I'll just kind of talk it through. The idea is I showed you Gemini, and then I took the feedback that I got out of Gemini to create, and I took that and I pasted that into Notebook, and then I was able to use that as the prompt to generate yeah, here we go. Okay, so let me pull this up, see if this helps at all. Okay, so now I'm back to Zoom. Let me share Chrome again. Okay. So here are the notes, guys, all about the communication strategy. And there's so many things over here. Let me just show you the outputs that I get out of Notebook LM. Look at all of these outputs. There's videos, there's audios, there are cheat sheets, there's a blog post, there's a briefing. So here's the briefing from what is gotten over here um, on the notebook. And then let me just show you now, this is my notebook account. Look at all of the notebooks that I have
Wow.
created. So much content. I mean, I'm just scrolling. Look at over here. I'm not even halfway down. So, there's just so much content that you can create. So I wanted to share that with you. Now let me go to this is a new one. I really developed this one just yesterday. So this is the video that I want to share. This one is only this is a shorter video, but I would love to get your comments on this one as well. So let me share this with you. Oh, you know what? Could you hear it okay, Ron? Do I need to optimize it?
I was able to hear it fine.
Okay.
Yeah, came over fine here.
Okay, good.
Hey everyone, so we're always hearing that AI is here to replace how we think. But what if that's not the whole story? What if its real purpose is to amplify our thinking? Today, we're going to dive into a new movement called AI reasonology, which is all about something called expert-enriched intelligence. Let's get into it. This quote right here, it gets straight to the heart of everything. It lays out this really powerful choice we all have. Are we just going to use AI to offload our thinking, or are we going to use it to become even sharper thinkers ourselves? And that's the big question we're tackling today. And this really does bring us to a tale of two AIs. See, every single time you use an AI tool, you're making a choice, whether you realize it or not. You're picking one of these two paths. Are you looking for a replacement, or are you looking for an amplifier? Okay, let's break this choice down a little. On the left, you've got AI for replacement. This is all about automation, getting quick answers, basically letting the machine think for you. But on the right, that's AI for amplification, and that's more like a partnership. It's about using AI to boost your own intellect, to explore ideas way deeper, and to really augment your own creativity. So if amplification is the goal, how in the world do we get there? Well, this brings us to the core philosophy behind this whole thing, the expert-enriched idea. It's all about fusing genuine human wisdom with artificial intelligence. And here's the crucial point. Expert-enriched AI isn't just about feeding a machine more and more data. It's about using deep human insight, the kind that only comes from years of real-world experience, as the secret sauce. This wisdom, it teaches the machine not just what to think, but how to reason. I want you to think about your unique expertise, your experience as your expert DNA. This movement argues that your DNA is actually the most valuable asset we have for building the next generation of AI, one that can reason with real nuance and, wisdom. Now, this isn't just some abstract theory. It's an open invitation, and it's built on a really compelling principle they call the giver's gain proposition. So here's how it works. The give is your expertise, your insights, and the kind of high-fidelity questions that, honestly, only a human expert can even think to ask. And in return, the gain is pretty significant. We're talking world-class visibility, professional PR, and having your expert DNA directly integrated to shape the future of reasoning. This quote really sums up the confidence behind the whole offer. It's not a transaction where you lose something. It's a symbiotic relationship. By contributing your wisdom, you actually amplify your own professional reach, and you help build a smarter community for everybody. Okay, so how can you actually get involved? Well, the path is pretty straightforward. You can join the free weekly AI Bloomers Networking Bootcamp, or you can participate in the Senior AI Podcast recording sessions. This is where the magic really happens, where that expert DNA gets captured. Okay, so we've got the philosophy and we've got the invitation. But how does this actually work in practice? How is all this human wisdom captured and translated into something useful? Let's take a look at the tools. The key tool here is Google's Notebook LM, which is used to analyze transcripts from podcast interviews. But the real innovation isn't the tool itself, it's how it's being used through these really carefully crafted prompts. So take this first prompt. Its whole goal is to create a lively, non-technical overview. It's designed to take a really complex expert conversation and just make the core idea accessible to anyone. Think of it like you're trying to explain it to an 8th grader. And this key instruction, it's fantastic. It tells the AI to focus on how human wisdom is the teaching element. It's saying, forget the code and the math for a second. Just explain how smart people are making computers think better so we can all be more successful. It's all about putting the human expert front and center. All right, the second prompt is all about persuasion. It's designed to create this super compelling explanation for other experts on why they should join this movement. It translates the value proposition into an exciting, you can't miss this opportunity. And I just love this key instruction. It frames participation as a cheat code for their career. What a brilliant metaphor. It immediately communicates this idea of a shortcut to getting greater impact and influence, which is exactly what that giver's gain model is all about. And finally, the third prompt is about making all this wisdom actionable. Its purpose is to pull out the core lessons from an expert interview and turn them into a reasonology study guide, like a cheat sheet. The process here is super clear. It's not just about listing ideas. It's about explaining how someone can use that lesson today to improve a relationship or to close a business deal. It turns abstract wisdom into concrete, usable advice, all while keeping the language engaging and simple. So we end on this thought. This entire movement is built on the idea that your unique expertise is your DNA. It's the code that makes you you. The question it leaves us with is a really powerful one. In this age of AI, how are you going to ensure that your human intelligence, your DNA, is part of the code that shapes our future?
All right. So let me kind of summarize things for you guys. And Melissa Erickson has joined us, I believe. Melissa, are you there? Okay. I just accepted her. Let me see the participants. Yeah, she is. She's on. I think she's just listening, and that's fine, Melissa. So Melissa Erickson is here, and she is an expert in streaming media and phones and technology. So I'm going to invite her to contribute her expertise at one of our meetings. Now, what this is all about is about expert-enriched AI. So in other words, when we pull in what AI puts out is what is called metadata, and that's kind of the peak of pure machine data. But what is more valuable is expert-enriched data or AI. So when we take the expertise of Ron Horry with his background in sales and marketing and FinFit Life, et cetera, and Tim's background in at the highest levels of media, we are actually enriching the AI. I have prompted in my interviews with Oprah Winfrey and Tony Robbins and Bob Proctor and so many that my AI is actually expert enriched. It's kind of like enriched uranium. It's just more valuable by far when you put in more expertise. So what we have is the starting point of using Gemini, which I go to, really simple. Anybody can do it. If you can order a book on Amazon, you can, order content out of Gemini. And that alone you can share with your friends and family to, enhance and improve your life. So that was number one. Then we put that into Notebook LM. We generated multiple media for training. And so, Ron has a story to share in his business. And Tim has an interest in generating his family history, which is amazing and very, very rich. And he wants to share that with Notebook LM. So I wanted to kind of guide you guys into the kind of comment. So Ron, from what you've learned about AI, what are your thoughts on using it to help explain to people what FinFit Life really is, to break through the noise and really be able to reach people with explainer videos to kind of tell about who you are and what you're doing?
Thank you again, Mike, for asking me to comment. Because one of the things with FinFit Life, and briefly, to explain to Tim and to Melissa, FinFit Life is doing something totally unique, and we are a startup in the financial industry. So the high level is our name stands for financial fitness, physical fitness, and lifestyle. So we combine health and wealth. So we reward people for being healthy by gamifying the whole idea of walking and exercising instead of making it a chore. And on the wealth side, we show people how they can protect and grow their money. So with Mike's assistance, we are we are creating different messages to reach out to people to spread our message, and you might say in a viral way. So, and one thing too, Mike, you talked about people using AI, and I have a former tech background. I work for a Fortune 50 company and in the technical world, project management, things like that, software. And so I like to follow tech. And one comment I learned about the more and more people use AI just to ask prompts. For example, create an email message, that has this, that, and that. Create an image. It actually reduces our cognitive functioning in our brain, which is huge. And so the reverse is what I do is I'll create a draft of let's say an email or an article, and I'll say, hey, Gemini, or hey, ChatGPT, review this and tell me how I can improve it. So I'm starting with my own content and asking AI for feedback instead of just blindly saying, oh, hey, Gemini, create this, look at this audio or this video and create the content for me. So there's a big difference between starting with your own original content versus asking AI to create it from scratch, because it literally changes the way it reduces our own brain functioning. So that's just one brief comment. I think it's hugely significant.
Thank you, Ron. What I'm doing at the moment is I am mining expertise. That's what I'm doing. So I'm bringing in the expertise of Ron and Tim, and one of these days Melissa as well. So my AI is actually getting smarter because I am training it. I've not only trained it with all the interviews I've done with all of these world-class experts, but I'm training it with people that are becoming AI bloomers. Now, Tim, why don't you talk a little bit about your interest in using it to document your kind of family history and the project that you've already started working on?
I hesitate to call it writing sometimes. I just refer to it as typing because it's just, if I'm in the mood, I'll try and set my brain back to a certain point in my life, or I'll pull out some documents I do have about family members going back, 4 or 5 generations. There's some notable ancestors that have done some fairly significant contributions to certain parts of life, in machine tools and design work. My grandfather has a patent for a brake system in the New York subway system that I have the actual patent, which is kind
Wow.
of cool. But basically, all these things I'd kind of like to get in some kind of shape for my kids and my grandkids. I was lucky in that I grew up around grandparents and uncles, and we had 3 cottages on a lake that were all family owned, and so there was big gatherings, and you hear stories. So anyhow, like I say, I to the point where I don't know, they have probably the equivalent of 70 or 80 pages of stuff that I've typed up over the last 5 years or so, really. And I was like thinking maybe it's time to really bite the bullet and hire a copy editor or somebody to put it into final shape. And then the more I played around with AI type stuff, Chat GPT, whatnot, it's like, well, before I spend that kind of money, maybe I should try and do some research and see what AI could do if I could just feed this in raw and with loud dates in it. So at the very least, they could put everything in chronological order. So again, I've not gone very far with it, but I think before I hire outside help, I'm going to at least try to get it all in one place and see what AI might be able to do with it.
All right, very good. So let me share another video that I created this morning because I came up with, I'm always looking for analogies and metaphors that people can relate to, especially baby boomers, and seniors, not only baby boomers, but there are other seniors that are like Gen X, the top end of Gen X are seniors, and there's the greatest generation. So I want to use for all seniors, but being a baby boomer, I love to use analogies and metaphors that relate to baby boomers, in art, music, and society that we can understand. So this morning I was thinking what people can really relate to, and Ron has used ChatGPT to cook chicken breasts. He was telling me about last week, and so I thought, wow, what a great metaphor to use a cooking show. And I came up with that idea. I fed it into ChatGPT and into Notebook. And I want to share with you the video that I created about starting a cooking show to be able to cook up content and courses. And I'm going to be using Zoom, like we're on Zoom right now, to capture everything, the output of Gemini, and then how I put it into ChatGPT, or no, not in ChatGPT, into Notebook instead, and then all the different ways that I can share it when I put it into Notebook. So let me share this with you real quick. And here's a little video about the cooking show that I created today. I think you'll enjoy it.
Okay, so let's be real. How on earth do you take something as huge and frankly intimidating as artificial intelligence and make it understandable for everyone? It's a massive challenge, right? Well, today we're diving into a really clever solution that does exactly that. And that really is the big question, isn't it? I mean, it is so easy to get bogged down in all the technical jargon, but what if we could just change the conversation entirely? Just imagine for a second if learning about AI felt as easy and familiar as, say, baking a cake. And this right here, this just nails the whole idea. Look, on the left, you've got your standard tech speak, large language model, multimodal output. It's confusing. It kind of pushes you away. But then look at the right. The language completely changes the game. A large language model? Nope. It's a digital brain. Multimodal output? That's just serving it up in different flavors. See? Right away, it feels so much more welcoming. So let's officially step into this new way of thinking. I want you to forget about labs and server rooms for a minute Instead, welcome to the AI kitchen. This is where a simple, powerful metaphor is going to break down all this complex tech for us. Okay, so here's the master plan. The cooking show metaphor, it's not just a cute trick, swapping a few words here and there. No, no, no. It's a whole framework for translating AI concepts into the language of cooking. And that, right there, fundamentally changes how we even think about the topic. And this is what's so important about it. It's all about the feeling it creates. Suddenly, technology isn't this cold, abstract thing anymore. It becomes familiar, something that actually nourishes our understanding instead of just overwhelming it. It's a huge shift, really, from fear to something you can actually get your hands on. Now, as you know, every great kitchen needs its chefs. And in our AI kitchen, the tools themselves get cast in these really simple roles. It makes the whole thing feel less like you're dealing with a machine and more like you're working with a team. So let's meet our team. First up, you've got Gemini. Think of Gemini as the prep chef. Its job is to gather all the data and chop it up into usable little ingredients. Then you've got Notebook LM. This is your sous chef. It takes all those prepped ingredients and does the actual cooking and makes sure the final presentation looks great. It's a perfect partnership. Okay, so you've got your chefs, but how do you tell them what to make? Well, you give them a recipe, of course. And in the AI world, that recipe is what we call a prompt. And let me tell you, a really good prompt is the absolute secret to getting the delicious results you're looking for. And just look at how specific this master recipe gets. You're not just saying, hey, give me some info. Oh no, you're setting the AI's entire personality. The tone should be lively and warm. The explanations, keep them at an 8th grade level. And the number one rule, the vibe, avoid that tech speak at all costs. It's brilliant. And it all boils down to this one simple mission for the AI: help me cook information into different courses. That's it. It's not about processing data, it's about cooking. That simple phrase keeps everything grounded in our kitchen metaphor, and it makes sure the final result is something we can all, well, digest. All right, so we've got our ingredients prepped. We've given our digital chefs the recipe. So what's for dinner? What does the final meal actually look like? Well, it's not just a single dish. It's a whole 4-course meal, and every part of it is designed to help you understand. I absolutely love this structure. First, you get the appetizer, a quick, simple summary to kind of get you started. Then, boom, the main dish. This is the real meat and potatoes, all organized and easy to chew on. For dessert, you get something fun and creative like a little conversational script. And the best part, the take-home bag. It's an action plan, so you can walk away and immediately use what you just learned. And you know what's really cool? The metaphor just keeps going. It gets even deeper. You can use it to explain the absolute pillars of AI. So, perception, that's like smelling the ingredients. Reasoning, that's just following the recipe. Imagination, hey, that's creating a totally new dish. And action, that's serving the plate. See how it just clicks? It makes so much sense. Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, but what can you actually make with this? What's really cooking in the AI kitchen? Let's look at the menu, because this leads to some really cool, tangible stuff. Check out this menu. It shows just how versatile this whole approach is. For breakfast, you could whip up a quick morning news brief. For lunch, how about taking old family letters and turning them into a beautiful story? And for dinner, you could even draft a whole mission statement for a community project. I mean, the possibilities are pretty much endless, just like a real menu. And at the end of the day, this is why it all matters so much. The words we choose have real power. When you start using words like recipes and serving, AI stops being this big, scary, unknown machine. It starts to feel more like a helpful kitchen appliance, like a really smart blender. It's a tool that helps you, not something you need to be afraid of. So if there's one thing to take away from all of this, it's this. A single brilliant metaphor can be one of the most powerful teaching tools on the planet. Just one. That one simple comparison can unlock a topic and make something that seems impossible to understand suddenly feel totally within reach. So I'm going to leave you with a question to chew on. Think about your own life. What's that one intimidating topic? Maybe it's finance or chemistry or heck, even car repair that you could make simple with an everyday metaphor. What's your recipe for making the complicated simple?
All right, I woke up this morning with this idea, and I already created this video with it. So, Ron, why don't we just go for you and start another round of expert commentary?
Excuse me. Well, thank you, Mike, again. So, Tim, I want to relate to your creating a family legacy. And definitely you can dive into Notebook LM. You don't need to hire a copywriter. Because myself, I'm 3rd-generation Japanese. I was born in California. My grandparents immigrated from Japan to Northern California. They were farmers primarily. And my mother, since I was a toddler, she would create these black and white photos, get these actual photos and put them into albums from, when I was young. And over time, we created more regular types of photos and colors, also VHS tapes. So I have 2 sons. They're adult sons. One's married, one has a girlfriend. So I'm thinking, I have photos and videos, boxes and boxes and boxes.
Wow.
So I don't want to just hand it over to them. So I thought, based on what I've learned about how Mike is using AI, I could literally dump it all into Notebook LM, and it'll be a digital resource for my sons and my grandkids and even great grandkids.
Great
So I
idea.
think it's a great practical application for using AI, especially, Tim, for your interest, like going back 5 generations. That is awesome.
Yeah.
The way to preserve that history.
Yeah, that's a great ideas there, Ron. Appreciate it. Certainly to do something online that would be accessible to family and friends would be a good way to go, rather than, printing out 60 pages of stuff and distributing it to people. So certainly something for me to ponder deeply and get smarter about.
Which of these videos, you guys, was the easiest one to digest?
They seem fairly equal as far as understandability and stuff. I don't know if this is the place to ask how you did those. I find quite fascinating that you got a female narrator. Obviously, you've got art. Was that all basically AI generated stuff? How did you get the lady's voice? Can you talk a little bit about how you made them?
Yeah, thanks, Tim. That's a great question. I'm glad you asked it. All I did, honestly, was one thing. I just pasted the output of Gemini into Notebook LM, and everything that you saw. Let me show you what happened. So I pasted it in here, and then, oh, let me share the screen. Sorry about that. So I can show you guys exactly. I know it seems complicated, and it's so easy. It's just ridiculous. It's almost hard to believe.
Yeah.
And I understand that. So what I do is I put it into Notebook LM as a prompt, and then I have a choice over here. So I went over here and I clicked on this, and it says, okay, create a brief video and use this particular retro
Look at that.
print. Look, that was it. Okay.
Cool.
It was that simple. And then down here is the video, and it generates that. And then I said over here, okay, let me I want to create 3 different length short briefs. I want to create a short one because what I believe is like Cliff's Notes. I create MikesAI notes. So I create a 2-minute summary first to go, this is what the longer podcast is going to be about. So is it reasonable for you to want to listen to the rest of the podcast or not? So in 2 minutes, you can decide if you want to listen to the full deep dive. I can click on the long one and I can create the long podcast as well. Or I can create reports that I can also share from a briefing or a slideshow, like this one, I think is a slideshow. But it's all done strictly in Notebook LM. I don't have to do a thing, nothing.
Yeah, and for being an automated voice narrator, she actually has some inflection and some pacing, and it doesn't say. I mean, if I just heard that voice, I wouldn't even jump to the conclusion that was strictly a computer generated voice. So that's great.
Well, you bring up a very good point about learning, why learning AI is so important is, we don't know what we don't know about it, and it keeps expanding and it keeps improving and it keeps getting better of all the different things that we can do with it. And one of the most important thing is this, and one of the reasons that I love Google and working with Google and grow with Google is one of the smartest people in the world, Demis Hassabis, who is the CEO of Google's DeepMind. He was a chess prodigy and a Nobel laureate for chemical engineering. And he says the single biggest skill to survive and thrive in the era of AI is to learn how to learn AI. So he's with Google, and then Google says, okay, the best way to learn AI, because they created Notebook, is through podcast listening, AI podcast listening. That's why Notebook creates AI podcast listening. They create these podcasts so you can listen to it. So you can take anything. In fact, when my wife Nancy got a new Honda Accord, I took the owner's manual and I turned it into a podcast in Notebook LM so we could learn everything that her new car did while we were driving in the new car.
Oh, great, brilliant. I like that.
Most people just take the owner's manual, throw it in the glove box, and never really know everything that, their new car will do.
Sure.
So, right. And so I can create mind maps. I can create slideshows. I can create so many different things. And when I say I can create, I didn't create a thing.
Yeah,
Okay.
right. Just pour it into
All,
the machine and let the machine take it, run with it. That's
and,
amazing.
and I just talked into Gemini. So I don't even type. You use the word typed. I don't even type. I just have a conversation with Gemini, and I just talk to it. And
Well, Mike, you're an old radio guy, so you can
that's
talk
true.
and
That's right.
keep it clear and think about what's coming next. And when so yeah, that adds to the quality of your output.
Well,
Hey,
the other one, Tim, is that I wanted people to learn that you can actually use AI itself as that. Now you have a son who is an expert in tech, and he knows a lot of things that many of us don't. Well, AI is like having that son that is tech savvy available to you 24/7, 365, because you teach AI how to teach you. So you
Hmm.
talk to AI and teach me how to use AI. You literally say to AI, help me use AI, and it will do the teaching for you so you're not stuck on different things, or help me to learn how to use Gmail, or help me to learn, which is another part of Google, of course. So anyway, I want to get you guys summaries and expertise on tape here. I'm going to take the output of this recording. I will get I will have video that I'm going to post on rss.com, so it's posted all over the place. I'm going to share it in a lot of different places, and I'll share it on Google, etc. But I'm also going to share the transcript into Notebook LM so that it will create a podcast about this podcast that we're doing right now. So I want to make sure that Ron Horry gets a chance to talk about FinFit Life and about his background, what he's doing. We'll let you wrap it up, Tim, with your expertise about your project. And I'd love to have you come back, Tim, and share the progress or the challenges, because when you can see your challenges, you can overcome them quickly. A blindfolded person can never run a hurdle race, but an elite athlete who can see the hurdles can run a hurdle race in 10 seconds. So, I'd love for you to come back and bring any hurdles that you face as you are going through this, and we'll help you to overcome them. So, Ron, why don't you give us one of your last words, and then we'll have Tim give us his last word about, the project, or what he learned today, or what he wants to learn.
One comment I have, Mike, is I love your cooking analogy. Like, you can use that cooking analogy to explain AI to an eighth grader.
Yeah.
And I think it was Richard Feynman said that if you can't explain if you can't explain something to an eighth grader, you don't really know it. And so I think that's a big takeaway. And one thing, Tim, Google owns Gemini. Google also owns Notebook LM. So you could just go to Gemini and say, how do I get started using Notebook LM? I'm just a beginner. And it will just take you step by step by step. And I'm still, I introduced Notebook LM to Mike, but now Mike is the professor and I'm the student.
See, that's all part of networking. Ron and I have been learning from each other ever since we started, 2 years ago, every single week. And we learn new things from each other. So Ron is out, and that's why I focus on ChatGPT networking and all the offspring of it. Notebook LM is one. Well, Ron found it. He introduced it to me because we network. And that's the key is. I'm sure Tim will be out there learning some new thing. He'll bring it to the table. Melissa will be out there learning one new thing. Hopefully she'll bring it to the table. And we're going to, really be mining this expertise. Ron's expertise in finding Notebook LM is now making our AI enriched. And that's what we want to do, is help people think and grow enriched in your life and in everything that you do. So always great to have Ron, be here and help introduce me to new things. So, Tim, tell me a little bit about your initial reaction. Now, we met and we kind of went through a few things, and since then you've been working at a couple of things. So just tell me, your personal experience or frustration or fear or or whatever.
Well, first off, I think it was a very interesting presentation. I appreciate the invitation and the chance to contribute in any small way. I certainly do not know much of anything about Notebook LM. I don't think I even heard of it till the last week or two from conversations with Mike. So I'm not somebody that learns a whole lot of new programs if I don't really, have to need them, etc. But I can see that this is certainly would bring a lot of benefits to the things that I want to do, and save me some money too, make things easier, make things more effectively done, accomplished, etc. So thanks for introducing me to that idea. I'm pretty stunned that your videos or slideshows, whatever, are narrated so well. The visuals, the graphics are appealing. It doesn't just shout AI, like some things do. But in any case, it's really interesting to see all the things you can do with the tools that you've got that are not expensive and they're not super complicated, it seems like. So good luck and go forth and prosper, as they say.
Well, thanks, Tim. Yeah, this is an example of networking. That's why I'm calling these boot camp networking. But Ron networked and told me about Notebook LM, and I networked and told you about Notebook LM. And so that's how things go around, and we can all help each other and stay in touch. Now, Tim is also very, very involved, Ron, in music. You should see his guitar and musical instrument collection. It's off the charts, and he loves music, and he's very musically oriented in his life. So we talked a little bit about some of the things that he will be exploring, with his music, which is really is probably his truest passion. So that's what we want to do, is keep it real, keep it human, and just building relationships and helping each other and learning from each other, and so many different things I think that we can do together. So thanks for being here. Thanks for sharing your expertise, and thanks for enriching our expertise with AI. So any final thoughts, Ron?
Just one comment. Merriam-Webster creates the word of the year every year. So the word of the year for 2025 is slop. Slop stands for AI junk.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's totally appropriate. So if you see anything, anyway, so that's the
Well, you're
word of the
right.
year for 2025.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. That's exactly what we're dealing with. The AI is like a kid's bubble machine. It just puts out empty bubbles of slop or garbage or foam and nothingness really. And it's clouding up really the communication, our human communication, even potential, with this garbage. It's like the plastic garbage out on the ocean, and that's what we have to overcome with human connections and human networking and keeping our humanity in it, because AI is both the problem and the solution. And are you going to be part of the problem, or are you going to be part of the solution? And that's what we're here to do, is to be part of the solution, to help people to get a signal rather than just noise, and being able to make it clear and keep it focused, because clarity, and the number two pillar from Oxford that I learned about AI is reasoning. And I have helped so many people with kind of challenging relationships in their life, iron them out by using AI reason ability to better communicate and kind of straighten out relationships that maybe have become entangled or challenging or difficult or harmful or hurtful, and really be able to mend those relationships with AI. That's why I say it's become reasonable, and that's what we want to help people do. So I guess that's it. It's Friday. I'm going to be sending out an email today about probably my favorite thing is the cooking thing. I'm actually going to get. I looked on Amazon already for a chef's apron, and I can get it customized. I'll have a chef's apron for being the AI chef. Teach people
Great.
how to
Wait for that picture, Mike.
cook up content with AI. So Tim, thanks so much for joining us. The door's always open to come back, and I hope you will be motivated to join us again and share more of your wisdom as you keep learning more and more with AI. And of course, Ron, always great to have you as my co-host. And thanks for being here again. Melissa, thanks for joining us and listening in. I will be sending out some final thoughts about this podcast, and I'd love to have other people join us here. So we're here every Friday at 8 a.m. Pacific. That's 11 a.m. Eastern. And for Ron Horry and FinFit Life, along with Tim Nicholson and Melissa Erickson in the audience. Thanks for joining us. I'm Mike Hayes.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
Have a nice weekend.
You too, Brad.